Everyone, welcome to Ultimate Experts at Udgam School. Today we are privileged to have with us Dr. Ramesh Kapadia, an eminent cardiologist with over 50 years of experience. He is going to share with us some valuable tips on how we can avoid premature heart ailments in children. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Doctor will try his best to answer your questions in this session. Thank you. Yes, doctor. Thanks for joining us today. Please enlighten us with how we can be heart healthy.
Yeah. Now friends, let me first correct one thing, that we are here today to prevent heart attack not in children but in young. You must know that WHO has reported that the highest incidence of heart attack amongst the young, that is from the age of 20 to 40, is highest world over in India. And what we are doing in a very big way in the United States, and now we want to put into practice in India because it is very, very urgently needed. Because nowadays, if you ask any doctor, they are now seeing heart attack at the age of 25, 30, and all these people who get this heart attack, and in India especially, all these young people are talented people. They are the wealth of our nation. And therefore, we have found and that it is high time, it's really absolutely the prime need of the hour that we should institute primary prevention and understanding of this heart attack when the children are 11, 12 or 13 years of age, and we educate the parents, especially in the family where there is a family history of heart attack or stroke. Everyone should know that in people in the family, if their parents understand that the father, mother, or the father's side or the maternal side, if anyone had got heart attack below the age of 70, then in that family, the young people should start learning about the lifestyle changes and learn about their profile, the profile of cholesterol, that is a lipid profile. And now we have found out that the culprit cholesterol in people who have got a family history of heart attack is the LDL cholesterol. Up till now we were talking about the good HDL cholesterol, that is all right. But that's now the importance is the culprit cholesterol is LDL. And we can measure LDL with a very simple lipid profile test even at the age of 11. And if we find that the LDL cholesterol is high in any child, then they can be taught, or the parents can be taught, how to bring down the consumption of saturated fats. Now, if we can institute that right from that age and then follow up the LDL, LDL in people who have got a strong family history should be well below 70, preferably 60. And that can be done with dietetic changes. Mostly the dietetic changes and little exercise. How much exercise? So then it's a very simple thing. In children, more than 10,000 steps is compulsory, but in children it is up to 20,000 steps a day. And nowadays, people can count the steps. Even at this age of 85 running, I wear a Fitbit. So that's very simple. So we can then see that the children are getting enough exercise. So the whole object of talking today to this enlightened audience of this school is that if we start the awareness right now in the family of the people who have got a strong family history, then we, according to our study in the United States, we can prevent 50% of heart attacks in the future. That's a great thing, because you must all realize that young of India is the wealth of the world. It's not wealth of India, wealth of the world. All the countries who are now at the top, the contribution of Indian young people is the highest there. whether it's United States or Britain or Australia or Canada, you name any other country who has progressed, a lot of contribution is from the young of India. Therefore, having been practicing cardiology for last more than 5 decades now, about 55 years, and having had a lot of experience in the United States about the primary prevention. United States, at one time, many years ago in 1975, the incidence of heart attack according to the World Health Organization record, the United States was almost number 1 or 2 in the incidence of heart attack at that time. And our incidence at that time was about 13th or 14th in 1975. They started primary prevention in USA as we are going to, as I am explaining now. And in 2016, the WHO assessed, and at that time the incidence of heart attack, which was number 2 in the world in the United States, now it has come down to 15th. And we were about 13th or 14th in 1975. Now we are heading all the world. We are number 1. So we cannot neglect this anymore. It should be a primary need of the whole nation. We are talking about the health of the whole India and health of the young talent. Important this morning is, and I just returned from USA last Friday, and today is Friday, about a week ago, and I visit United States every year for about 2.5 months during the 2.5 months. Every year I visit during summer, and I must tell you that my son, Dr. Ramesh Kapadia, is a cardiologist at Cleveland Clinic in USA, and Cleveland Clinic is rated as #1 cardiology center in the whole of United States and almost a world famous center in cardiology. That is Cleveland Clinic Heart Center. And I'm very proud to tell you that Ramesh Kapadia is now the chairman of the cardiovascular department of that hospital, Cleveland Clinic. So I have an opportunity to come in contact with many celebrated cardiologists, and I came in contact with Dr. Nissen, who is now about 76 years of age, who was chairing this department, cardiovascular department, and then now he has retired and my son has taken over. So Dr. Nissen had an interview with me, which we will be able to send you the link to that interview. And there, only about 15 days ago, before I came here only a week ago, and before that, we had a great discussion, and Dr. Nissen was very keen. Therefore, he talked with me for about 15 minutes. That Dr. Kapadia, when you go home, you see that you institute primary prevention in the young of India right from the age of 11, 12 and 13. Don't misunderstand this, that the 11th, 12 and 13 boy, when he talks about a little pain and discomfort, that's never a heart attack, very, very rarely. And that's what we are discussing today. We are discussing today that these young people, to have the right type of diet, right type of way of living, and educate the parents, because in this family there has been heart attack or a stroke at comparatively young age. So this is known as family history, and that is my emphasis. So please understand this, that I was told about the mitral valve prolapse and all that in the young people. Now mitral valve prolapse is the most innocent condition. It's found in many girls, and it is not at all a condition which requires any intervention regarding the valve repair or anything like that. But again and again I tell you that please do not understand or misunderstand that this talk which I am giving you regarding the heart attack in the young, that is heart attack at the age of 11, 12 and 13, not at all. We are concerned with the heart attack rising in the population, young population from the age of 25 to 40 or 45, and people are not aware that this runs in family. So that is the work. My time will be well spent, this 15 or 20 minutes that I'm talking to you. You are welcome to ask me some questions if it is possible in this talk. But please remember that we are going to check their LDL cholesterol at young age. It's only one test. And LDL cholesterol lipid profile. And if that LDL cholesterol is above 70, then that family, the children, should regulate their diet in such a way, the saturated fats and exercise, and avoiding any use of tobacco in the future. So that also should be taught right from the beginning how harmful the tobacco is. It increases the tendency 20 times if you have family history. So that also has to be cultivated. And lastly, you must all know that we are conducting a program for last 27 years. Now it has come to be known as Universal Healing Program. And this Universal Healing Program, the short form is UHP. And that was started by me on October 2, 1991. And this year is the 150th birthday anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And Gujarat Vidyapith, established by Mahatma Gandhi 100 years ago, that has got now a UHP center teaching the stress management. And I have given the numbers of the people whom you can contact and then take part in the stress management there and teach the young children also how to practice Shavasana. Shavasana is the part of yoga asanas, but it's a king of asanas.